Arhantaram, Namo Siddharam, Namo Ayarinyadam, Namo Uvachayadam, Namo Loe Sapsapuram.
Mangalam.
Mangalam Bhagwan Viro, Mangalam Gautam Kali, Mangalam Pundatumbatyo, Yochivam Vedosmi Mangalam, Sarvamangalya Mangalam, Sarvakalyana Karikam, Pradhanam Sarvadharmanam, Chainam Jaitu Shasanam, Chainam Jaitu Shasanam, Chainam Jaitu Shasanam, Mokshamargasya Nitaram, Vektaram Karma Gyataram Vishwatattvanam, Vande Tatkunilabdhaye, Vande Tatkunilabdhaye, Vande Tatkunilabdhaye. So we all are actually having a quick sprint, literally running on this journey to comprehend, to understand about the basic principles of Jain philosophy. And I'm sure all of you are equally involved, engaged, and are enjoying this journey. We started this journey with that one chapter called Namokar Maha Mantra, when we had our first session and we contemplated about why this prayer is not about seeking or begging or asking for any favors, but it is rather a contemplation that we ourselves have that power to make ourselves innately happy. And therefore, it is a prayer that does not ask from its deity, from its God, for any favor, but a prayer which tells the God that, okay, I take inspiration from you, that you created your own liberation for yourself, and I will do that for myself as well. So there is, as we read Vitragyan Patmala Part 1, we also have concurrently some self-reading syllabus. And there's this book titled called Srinamukar Mahamantra, which I'm sure you guys are going through. The book, the content of that book, and everything that is there in that book, about three, four very interesting stories are there. I mean, the examples, how we have been told that why Namokar Mantra is not about pleasing our Parmeshtis, it is about realizing that we also have our individual self respect. So I'm not going down in front of anybody because they're higher than me. I'm going down in front of somebody because they've shown me that I am also worthy of being born down to. So it's a beautiful read. I hope you guys are reading. The content of that book is what we discussed in the Balbot Patmala Part 1, chapter Brahmokar Mantra 5 Parmeshtis, where we said that, okay, the religion is not transactional, that I bow down to you and you fulfill my wishes. The devotion is not because there is this hierarchy that you are above me and I am just your servant. No. There are two devas in five Parmeshti, Arhantas and Siddhas, and three gurus, Acharyas, Upadhyayas, and Sadhus. And we bow down to them not because they are superior beings. We bow down to them because they have realized the qualities which we also have, but in unrealized form. So we are not bowing down to a person. Jainism is not person oriented but quality oriented religion. And when you become person oriented, you do not remain a religion, you become a cult, a sect, and that is far more dangerous than not following anything. If you're following one person, then you are doomed. So we are not the fan of Mahavir Bhagwan because he's Mahavir. We are his followers because he's Vitragi and Sarvagya. We adore him for his qualities, not for his name. We adore our Tirthankaras not for their kinghood, not for their powers, not for the wonders that they did, and we read about those wonders in our scriptures. No, we adore them simply because they have the qualities we are looking in ourselves to have, right? So, if you have been reading that book, great. I'm sure you must have enjoyed reading it. If not, we'll do the summary of that book, of course, but please do give it a read. It's a good reflection on what we have discussed. Like majority of the things in mentioned in that book and which it is famous for, we have already covered it in the chapter called Amukar Mantra. We'll have a quick view of that as well. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to start with one of the most important and sacred part of Jain philosophy, and that is the chapter 8 of our book. We'll be starting with that chapter. Last time we did story of Raksha Bandhan, where we learned about Acharya Kampanacharya and 700 other Jain monks. Because of Bali, Namuchi, Brahaspati, and Prahlad, the four ministers. Uh, the upsurge happened on the 700 Muniraj because also Shrutsakar Muniraj engaged in uh, uh, in a debate with these four ministers who were Mithya Drishti, who had wrong beliefs. And because of that, it escalated, and then they took it personally. And when these Muniraj reached Hastinapur, these four ministers then executed their heinous plan of doing upsarga in front of to these Muniraj. Then comes the savior Vishnu Kumar Muniraj and he saves everybody. So this is the story. This is what we know as part of history in Jain philosophy. In Jain tradition, we consider that it happened. But when we also contemplate, because this is what we are reading after the chapter called Eight Karmas, in karma philosophy. And we are saying that we believe in karma philosophy. So if I believe in karma philosophy, whatever is happening to me is the result of my own karma, not the ill functioning of the fellow being. Right? I cannot be in two different minds at the same time. If you come to me and use inappropriate language, is it because of your ill behavior that I am facing the heat of your misconduct, or is it because of my karma that I have to endure this uh, hardship? What is the reason? So, if I believe in karma, you have no authority. It's my own karma which has come to its fruition. So, I have no complaints to make. But if I don't know what karma is, then I am up for a fight with you. How dare you? How dare you talk to me like that? So, a person who would know that the karmas are responsible for all the situations that we undergo in our lives, for them, every story becomes about themselves. So, it is not the four ministers who have done the upsarg on the 700 Muniraj. It's not Vishnu Kumar Muniraj who saved them from this upsarg. It's not the ministers who could kill Shrutsakar Muniraj. It's not Shrutsakar Muniraj who pardoned these four ministers. Yes, it is all the consolidated result of everybody's individual karmas, and everybody what it does, what everyone does is done to themselves and not done to the parties which are present over there. Okay? And from our interaction in our group as well, I draw this conclusion that there are confusions about the eight karmas as well. That how the eight karmas are functioning, which karma is doing what, and because of which karma what happens. So we very in very short in the last session we tried making sense of it that okay, Jiva has an all-out attack on its existence by the karma, but because of the structure of world, because of Dravya Paryaya which we have studied, because one reality cannot be destroyed. We all are undestructible. We are all are eternal. So the karmas cannot harm us even if they attack us. So the attack has to be strategized. When you do not have the authority to harm me, but you still want to avenge, you still want to take that revenge, then you'll have to then, find out a way which hurts me the most. Yes. So what will karmas do? They will attack in two ways. So one, internally, they attack the basic attributes of the soul, which are darshan, the belief system, and the perception capability. Not the belief system, sorry. Darshan, the perceiving power. Gyan, the knowing power. Samyak, the belief, the power to know, your belief system. Charitra, your conduct, your behavior. Virya, your power. These are internal attributes of the soul. So the souls in all these attributes which are in each pradesh of the soul, these karma try to um, corrupt this software of the soul. So we call them ghatiya karma. These karmas, they're attacking the very internal attributes of the soul by not destroying them, but by either wheeling them. So do the avaran, so you do not let them see. So if you wheel my eyes, I will not be able to see what is out, like, beneath that wheel, what is beyond that wheel, that curtain. So I cannot see it. So you have wheeled it. So that is called avaran. So three karmas they wheel. So antaray karma wheels our power, Darshanavarni karma wheels our perception. Jnanavarni karma wheels our knowledge. Jnana. Okay? And then there is one karma which is called Mohaniya, as the name suggests. It dilutes. So what it does? Darshan Mohaniya robs us of our right belief and it makes us fool. So there is a shadow. But if I have my darshan muni in a very troubling state, then I will even get scared of my own shadow. So this is what tweaking with my own belief that, oh, there is somebody who might be harmful, who might be dangerous. And I'm scared for no reason. I am scared looking at my shadow. This is what Darshan Mohiniya does. It attacks our belief system. So this body, and I say, oh, this is me. So my belief is distorted. I am not this body, but now the body's height, weight, color, the pitch, or the strength, the caliber, everything, it hurts me. It hurts me because I believe that I am this body. So that is darshan mohini. And when you can restrict my behavior, you can also control my behavior. So my conduct, which was to remain indifferent to everybody, to all situations. But I rather, because of this corruption in my charitra, in my Shadopio, in my equanimity, because of this corruption, now I am being compelled to react to every situation, every outcome by either my anger or deceit or pride or greed, by laughter, by crying. So all sorts of passions, kashai, they result out of this charitra mohiniya karma. So this is the internal attack set out by the Ghatiya karmas. These four karmas are called Ghatiya karmas. Mohini is to be consolidated into one. So attack on belief and our character, they both are interlinked. So I do what I believe. So if you disrupt my belief, you can see its effect on my character, on my conduct. Okay. The second duty of karmas were like they also want to disturb the situation in which the soul lives. And that situation is created by these four aghatiya karma. Why aghatiya? Because they have nothing to do with soul. They're not directly dealing with the soul. They are just creating the ecosystem around the soul. So what they do, they first create a contract that this soul will have to live in a body. So they first, through Ayu Karma, they create a contract that this body will be caged, this soul will be caged inside a cell. So this next question comes, where is the cell? You have to actually build a jail to put somebody into jail. You cannot just say that, okay, you will be in jail, and then somebody asks, where is the jail? You say, oh, we have not constructed it yet. So without jail, you cannot jail me. So Ayu Karma gave the verdict that, okay, this soul is going to now live in a cell called body. So then Nam Karma came like a builder and it constructed the body. So Nam Karma is responsible for creation of body, and Ayu Karma is that contract which is executed, which cages the soul into the body. These two are separate things. The cell is different. I being caged into a cell is a different thing. I am being caged into the cell is because of my contract executed by Ayu Karma that for next 80 years I am going to be in this body of human form or of animal form or of death or Nargati. That is the execution of the contracts in form. There has to be a human form. So now that's a separate entity. We call it Nam Karma. Nam Karma is responsible for the manufacturing of this body, of building, of construction of this body. So it has, 93 different workers which come together to make this body, how your voice will look, how your appearance would be, will you be beautiful or not, will all your sense organs function or not, how strong will be your bones, how heavy will you be, what taste, what color, what size, will you be healthy, will you not be healthy, everything is decided by Nam Karma. Will you be a Tirthankara? Everything, all the things which relate to this body are in the department of Nam Karma. And for how long will you be with this body will be dictated by Ayu Karma. Okay, simple. So now once I get the body and I take admission to this body because of the Ayu Karma, then there are two more complexities. First, whether the body where I am, taking birth in body, whether I'll be put up in a respectable position or will the where the body is going to be is also a place where people will not consider me equal. So that is the Gotra karma, which defines our ecosystem that, okay, whether I'll be in company of people who are constantly fighting over things, people who are, economic injustice, gender injustice, all sorts of racial injustice, is happening, atrocities by higher classes is happening to this, whether have I taken birth in a family which has been the victim of atrocities, and whom to blame then? It is happening since so long. Whom to blame? So it's just that you took birth in a place, you can fight for centuries for rights, but what wrong has been done has been done, has been done. How do you undo that? What has happened to your forefathers? And it walks with you in some ways. So why with some people atrocities come so frequently, and why with some people the luxuries, the dignity arrives so casually? It is because of the Gotra karma, Uch Gotra and Nich Gotra, and fight for all rights you should, and we all must stand up for equality. But seeing that, okay, this should be the world order, we are being very hopeful, but also we are being very naive, because for your small amount and impact on this earth, the 80 years or 8 decades of your life that you're going to spend on this earth, you really think that you can disrupt the ecosystem that has been created across centuries by different generations. So it travels, it travels. So on paper, we may have democracy, we may have, everybody may have equal rights, but because of the situations of the poor, of the people who are of indigenous sects, races coming together, they are devoid of, what do you think? Like, okay, male and female, everybody has equal right. But, and it's good that, we also advocate for, even the transgenders should also have equal right, and they should. And we, with all our might and with all our conduct, we will do so. But, but can you expect from a population which is not literate, which is not thoughtful, which has not been encouraged and shown the equalities of these different genders, and then can you expect that, okay, they should also follow what you have written in your books, what you have advocated in certain streets walking and campaigning? So it's too much. So, yes, ideally, we all individually must treat everybody with equality. But if you ask the karma, karma will choose. If they want to punish a person, they will make him take birth in certain sets, certain localities, certain geographical areas where they may not get the advantage of being an equal being. They could have been mistreated. Yes. So that's Gotra karma. So it creates the class despite being laws in places and everything. And then also, so these are very personal. My contract with body to how long I have to remain, Ayu karma, this make of the body, Nam karma, and the class of the body, Gotra karma. Okay, these three things are still very personal. But then also, I have situations where I have taken birth. There is a volcano nearby. There are cyclones, floods. They are very frequent visitors. I took birth in a distant village in Himalayas where, even for basic things, I have to descend from this mountain to get, to get my gas filled, to get my machine work. So I have to travel on my foot for like 10, 12 kilometers on daily basis just to carry water from that well because where I live, there is no water. Correct? So these situations where you are stuck, where you're stuck, like okay, there is no mode of transport where I live, and I have to travel by car for so long, and then only we get an airport or we get a railway station or bus stop. So these situations, who is controlling these situations? That is Vedaniya karma. Okay. So Vedaniya karma is responsible for all the good and bad and ugly situations that we see and that we face. So this is how an all-out attack from outside by Ghatya Karma and a very well-planned internal attack attacking Jiva's Gyan, Darshan, Charitra and Virya is planned by these eight karmas, and this is what they do. There is no ninth karma because there is nothing else required. There are no consequences you see which do not get included in these eight categories. So everything that happens to us can be summarized into these eight mega categories. Okay, simple. It's fairly simple. If you'll read it again from the chapter, it's the same thing, simple. Okay. So Anujeevi Gun, one of the person, like somebody has posted on chat that okay, the Ghatya karma which attack the type of gunas that those gunas are called Anujeevi gunas, and the Aghatya karma they attack the Pratijeevi gunas of the soul. What are these Anujeevi and Pratijeevi gunas? Anujeevi gunas are pro-Jeevi gunas. They follow Jiva. Means what? Means what? You can never be without knowledge. Knowledge will not leave your hand even if you are in Nigodasha. Okay? So they follow Jeev. So Anu Jeevi, they are always with Jiva. So there is no 0-1 situation with them. Either they will be in full form or they will not be at all. No. So Gyan cannot complain that okay, I'll only come when you have Keval Gyan, otherwise there is no requirement, I cannot be in part with you. I do not want to be, half knowledge, half wisdom. No, I don't like this. I'll be either one or I'll be zero. So those gunas which are not following this binary of 0-1, they are called Anujeevi gunas. They're always with the soul. So though I am angry today, but that is the reflection of my charitra gun which is functioning, not the way it should function, but it is saying that okay, I have my conduct with me. So Anujeevi gunas are the gunas which you can see with soul. They follow these, they're always with the soul. Pratijeevi gunas say that okay, I have reservations. Either I'm going to be zero or I'm going to be one. So let's say Atma is amurtik. Atma is invisible entity. But can you not see me? Can you see me? You can see me. You see body, but it is because of body that you also know that Ajeev is here. So body is a great alarm. If you're riding at 120 kilometers per hour speed and suddenly a deer crosses, you hit your brakes. Do you see a soul or do you see a body? So when you hit your brake, you want to save the body or save the soul. If there is a dead body of a cat which is lying on the road, which is dead, you will not hit your brakes. You will, you will just, change a bit, or, you just pass by it. You'll not run over it. You'll pass by it. But if you're convinced that there is life, you'll slow down your vehicle. So it is the life which you respect, not the body. So body becomes that that indicator which tells you that okay, there is soul or there is no soul. Yes. So till the very last breath, everybody is waiting outside that ICU for the doctor to declare that he's no more. As long as he's there, everybody has done all the effort to keep him alive. But the moment doctor says he's no more, suddenly everybody starts preparing to bury them, to cremate them. What changes? Since past 5 months, he was admitted to that coma, to ICU, and everybody was praying every day that he should live. But the moment I came to know that he is no more, everybody is now gathered and everybody is ready for the cremation. Everybody is ready for the burial. How is it happening? Because our interaction is not with the body, it is always with the soul. Body is what the soul is. This is the common understanding. So what Sukshmatva Gun says that, okay, fair enough, I'll be either zero or one. The soul is supposed to be invisible, but because of Nam Karma, the invisible attribute of soul is threatened. It can be identified just by looking at the body of an ant. You know the soul of ant is here. So the soul cannot escape from your senses. You can identify it. But ideally, its soul is supposed to be invisible. It should be unidentifiable. Yes, everybody? Yes. So therefore, we call Sukshmatva Gun as Pratijivi Gun. So the moment you destroy Nam Karma, then only the soul will become invisible. As long as you have Nam Karma, you will be identified with your visible body. So the Pratijivi Gunas are the gunas which only show their realization after that particular karma disappears, gets destroyed. So avyabhat karma goes off and the avyabhat, sorry, Vedaniya karma goes off and the avyabhat swabhav starts coming. Okay, so all these gunas are pratijivi gunas. The gunas that we have seen, they follow the binary. So Ayu Karma goes off, and then only you take your own shelter, you have your own house. Otherwise, you are living in rented property called this body. So Avgahanatva is a Pratijivi Guna. Avyabhadatva is a Pratijivi Guna. Aguru Lagutva. As long as you have body, you have these races of upper class and lower class, Uchi Gotra and Nich Gotra. But the moment Gotra Karma goes, you are Aguru Lagu. Neither you are heavy, nor you are light, nor you are big, nor you are small. So these four attributes are pratijivi gunas, means you cannot find those gunas right. I mean, you cannot identify those gunas right now because they seem like as if they are not functioning. And they will only display their true colors once these four karmas leave. So we also define dhatiya karmas as an attack on jivas anujivi gunas and aghatiya karmas as an attack on jivas pratijivi gunas. So if I'm visible and if I'm not invisible, how does it affect me as long as my darshan and charitra are in tandem? So pratijivi gunas do not disturb me. So Arihantas have not destroyed four karmas, but they are completely happy. It shows that I should not be worried about aghatya karmas or pratijivi's gunas realization. It will happen if I take care of my darshan and charitra. Okay? Simple. So now we start with chapter number 8 today, which is very important chapter. But before we start with this chapter, the chapter is on 12 reflections. Quite important chapter, very important chapter. But before, because we are going to do the anupreksha or the bhavana, we're going to do the bhavanas, right? So before doing the bhavana, we have to understand one simple thing, okay? What that simple thing is, we saw this, what did we see? That I am the soul, I am the knower soul, right? And I have all the realities around me, jeev buddhal dharmadharm akash kal. and I have the karmic reality of ghate and aghate karma with me coexisting. Correct? But now I am not concerned about all this. What I'm concerned about it, you consider yourself having two eyes? We all have two eyes, everybody. We all have two eyes. What happens when you close one eye? Does the world change? You close one eye and you make other eye remain open. What changes outside? You try doing this. You close both your eyes and then you open one eye and you see, look at your screen. And then you close this eye and you open this eye and look at your screen. What changes in the screen? What changes in screen? Nothing, right? But does something change on what you see? Yeah, while I close this eye and I see from this, the screen looks a bit left of me. When I do otherwise, it looks a bit right of me. So there is some perception, like, it is displaced. If I open both the eyes, it looks just as exactly where it is. So from one eye, world looks slightly different. From other eye, world looks slightly different. But when I use both my eyes, world looks as it is. Yes. So my closing one eye does not have any impact on this world. My using another eye does not change anything in this world. But these both practices, these both exercises, they change a bit of my perception. Means with one eye closed, what I see cannot be as true as what I see with both my eyes open. Simple. So what Tirthankaras are not going to urge to us, they'll say, see, this is how it is. You have again two eyes, and you're looking at the reality from these two eyes. So the nature of reality is complex. So we'll call the reality as a pramana. It's the whole substance, the reality. We'll call it pramana. Okay, and this praman, this whole reality, this complex reality is being called complex. Why? Because it is contradictory natures in it that can be observed. Yes, everyone. Yeah. So if you ask me, when the last week we met and today we are meeting, are we the same people or are we the different people over this week? Did we change or we remain the same? And it's a complex question now. We are the same people, yet our clothes have changed, our thoughts have changed, our questions today that we may have, so what we had last week, maybe some of them have already been answered. We have different curiosities now. We are more interested or more disinterested in certain things. Better mood, worse mood. So we are not the same people as well. So to answer it in one word is impossible. Are we the same people which met last week, or are we not? From one eye, we are the same people. From another eye, we are not. And with both eyes open, yes and no. Yes, can we say this? So this is the trick which we are going to use now in this chapter. We call this as the trick of naya. Naya means we are using our eyes to see the complex reality. But we have a limitation. At a time, while contemplating or explaining or speaking of reality, I am bound with this limitation of my words. I can only speak about one part, and I'll have to totally ignore the other. I'm not refuting the existence of the other part. It's just my inability to not speak two things at the same time. So I'll be speaking consecutively, one after the another. So if you'll ask me, are we the same people which met during the last class? I will say yes. And you'll say, how come? And I'll say, wait, I'm completing. Yes and no. I cannot together say yes, no. It will take sequential arrangement. And why first yes? Why not first no? Say no, yes. We can fight all day and night. What do you say? What to say first? But the reality is, if you want to hear it from me, my saying, my words will always be following a sequence. And if you'll make me stop halfway, I'll only be telling you the half story. Correct? So we have two natures in every substance. One substance has two nature. One is its substancehood, the dravya swabhav. The other is its changeability, its paryaya swabhav. हर एक वस्तु के दो स्वभाव. एक, the constant, the very nature of this substance, we'll call it dravya swabhav. The other is its paryaya swabhav, which is ever changing. Okay, everybody? So now, if I close my one eye, what will change in this swabhav? If I close my right eye, what will change in this swabhav? That this reality is indifferent to my closing of eyes or opening of eyes. Nothing changes here. But significant changes happen over here when I choose to close one eye and open another. Okay? So we'll be calling our eyes as nayas. So the eye, which is going to focus on the dravya swabhav, the constant nature of this thing, we'll call it dravyarthik nay. We'll call it dravyarthik nay. Dravya focused sight. I'm choosing the constancy of this substance. So the eye, which focuses on what remains constant, is called dravyarthik nay. The eye, which focuses on the part where dravya looks ever changing, which focuses on paryay, we call it paryayarthik naya. Which eye sees the complete picture? Neither of the two. They together, you being able to see dravya and paryay together will show you the complete picture. But if you keep your one eye closed and start dictating, discoursing about the world by looking only from one eyesight and saying that, oh, I have the supreme truth, I have the ultimate truth, you're doomed. Good luck. Understood? So, in this Bara Bhavana written by Pandit Jaychand Chabada, we are using both these eyes, both these nayas. In first line, maybe in first part, we'll be talking about how world appears from the dravyarthik naya. In other part, we'll be told that, oh no, it is not like this. And then we'll be concluding, oh, it is like this and it is not like this. So, one eye perception, second eye perception, and then the consolidation of both the perceptions and how it clears our ability to see the reality. Okay? So let's start by reading about Pandit Jaychand Chabada, who has written this beautiful composition of Bara Bhavna. Uh, I would want a volunteer who would want to do this reading of introduction of Pandit Shri Jaychand Chabada. Anybody? You'll also know that how many great scholars we have had in past who have served to this great tradition of wisdom, a great tradition of spirituality called Jainism. Anybody who would want to read is free to read. Please unmute yourself. There is a question. Will it be correct to say that Pramana is equal to Dravyarthik Nine? Yes. So when you consolidated all the viewpoints, Naya is a viewpoint. It's one side. When you consolidate all, then what you see is called Pramana. That is Praman Gyan. So if we will do it once we start reading this chapter, we'll do it. It's beautiful question. We'll do this. What Pramana is, what Naya is. So who is going to read today? Binita ji, will you be doing the reading? Yeah, sure. Okay, Vinita ji is doing it. Jai Chinji Chapra, introduction.
Jai Jinendra, Bara Bhavana, Pandit Jaychand Chabada. Pandit Jaychand Chabada holds a significant position amongst the talented and spiritual scholars of the Jaipur Jain community of that time. He was born in Fagai
Agai
village,
village.
Fagai village, situated on the Dighi Malpura road about 30 miles from Jaipur. His father was Motiramji Chabada. His interest in Tattwagnan began at the tender age of 11 years. After some time, he left Fagai for Jaipur, where he got the virtuous company of the great Pandit Todarmalji and other intellectuals. He gained spiritual knowledge from religious study groups of Therapant, a Digambar sect called
Sally, Sally,
Saili
Sally.
in Jaipur. He has described it thus. I wouldn't be able to read this.
I'll read it.
Okay.
सैली तेरा पंथ सुपंथा तामे बड़े गुणी गुण ग्रंथा तिनकी संगति मैं कछु बोधा पायो मैं अध्यात्म सोधा.
Okay. His son, Pandita Nandlal Ji, was also a great scholar. Pandit Jaychand Ji himself has praised him in his writings. Compositions of Pandit Jaychand Ji are mostly commentaries called Vakanika.
वचनिका.
However, Vachanika. However, he does some original works too. Some of his important works are as follows. Tatvat Sutra, is it? No. Yeah,
Yeah,
Tatvat
yes,
Sutra,
तत्वार सूत्र वचनिका,
Vachanika, Sarvat Siddhi Vachanika, Prameyatva, Prameyatmala,
प्रमेय रत्नमाला वचनिका,
द्रव्य संग्रह वचनिका, समय सार वचनिका, अष्टपाव वचनिका, जिनेन
ज्ञानार्णव, ज्ञानार्णव वचनिका,
ज्ञान वचनिका, धन्य कुमार चरित्र,
धन्य कुमार चरित्र वचनिका,
कार्तिकेय प्रेक्षा वचनिका, पादा पादा
पद
संग
संग्रह.
पद संग्रह. Okay.
Hmm.
Bāraha presented below is written by him. At the time when vairagya, feeling of detachment, is gaining strength, the thought process of the gnani, immersed in the contemplation of bara bhavana, 12 reflections, is as follows.
Great, great. Thank
Anitya.
you. Thank you. See, so Pandit Jaychand Chabada in his lifetime has written so many commentaries on such great scriptures. He has done his works on the most important scripture of Jain philosophy from Agamic point Tattvar Sutra and its Tika Sarvar Siddhi, as well as from Adhyatm point Samaysar in his Samaysar Vachanika. He did great service by writing Vachanika on logic, Jaina logic, Jain Nyaya, by writing a Vachanika on Prameya Ratnamala. He did his work on Ashtapahud, which is a great, what should I say, a scripture of discipline in Jaina philosophy. Jnanayana is a scripture devoted to Jaina meditation, Jaina Dhyan, the Jaina yoga. So, his reach of work, he also did the commentaries on these stories, Prathman Yog, Dhanya Kumar Charitra. So his works have been, in every, all the anyogs have been covered. His wisdom, his knowledge must have been such well polished that he was capable of writing commentaries on scriptures belonging to different genres, right? So this Bare Bhavana is also written by him, and we'll be seeing his scholarly prowess as we read these Bare Bhavana. I'm sure you all remember a few Bare Bhavanas like Raja, Rana, Chhatrapati, Hatin ke Aswar, Marna sabko ek din, apni apni baar, दल बल देवी देवता मात पिता परिवार मरती बिरिया जीव को कोई न राखन हार. ये सारी, all these from right from our childhood in our families we're exposed to these hymns, these compositions, called bāraha. So this is very, very basic level bāraha when we say that Raja, Rana, Chhatrapati, Haath inke aswar, marna sabko ek din, apni apni baar. And it makes me quite, fearful that, oh, I'll have to die. What do I do? The world is so depressing. And it, somehow we start, feeling sad and bad and fearful for ourselves. And we say, oh, yeah, the sansar is not for us. But it's not Vairagya because it is only looking at the world from one picture and you're getting discouraged. The world is not to discourage you, it's not aimed to make you feel small, incapable. So, see, let's start reading this. So, the Hindi part I'll be reading, and English part, whoever can unmute, we can one by one decide for ourselves. So, I'll be reading the Hindi part so it becomes easy for everybody to do. Anitya Bhavana, the first contemplation. Keep in mind what we did in the last class. Let me repeat it again. Let me repeat it again. What we are doing is to be done at that, and even in the very first part of VīTRāGA VIJñāNA Pathmala, we have been made capable by the great curriculum that we are already at that stage that we can contemplate all these technical aspects of Jain philosophy. So keep in mind, we'll have to use all our energy and mind while we are deriving the meaning of these lines. So they'll be talking to about dravyas, they'll be talking about tattvas, they'll be talking about karmas, and we all know what these terms mean now. So we'll try to figure out what does it mean, whether am I able to figure out the meaning of these concepts, these lines. Okay? Okay, let's do it. Very simple, very easy going, and it will make your heart, delighted as you take meaning yourself out of these lines. Dravya Rupa Kari Sarvathir. Dravya, when you're focusing on Dravya from the eyes of dravyarthik naya, then you do not see any change. Sarvathir, everything is constant. But then I close this eyes of dravyarthik naya and I see parjay thir hai kaun. But when I see from the paryaya perspective, who is stable? What does not change? What remains same? Nothing. Dravya rupa kari sarvathir. When I look from the perspective of substance, dravya, I see no change in this world. But when I look at the changing quality, the paryaya of dravya, I see that what does not change, everything changes. So what should I do? What should I do? So second line, dravya drishti apalakho. Parjay nahi kari kaun. See, if you will see the forever changing paryaya, you will be overwhelmed. You'll feel uneasy, you'll be tense that everything is changing, nothing remains the same, everything is drifting apart. So rather what you should do, dravya drishti, you train yourself to focus on the constant. Dravya drishti apa lakho. Apa is atma, self. You lakho means to see. You see yourself as a soul from Dravya Drishti means never changing, never dying, always remaining soul. By Parijay Naya Kari gone. You do not have to say that Pariyaya is not there. You just have to ignore it. It is there, but I do not focus on what changes. I focus on what remains. And it is such a good thing to do. I have assumed that this pen which I have is made up of gold and it slips from my hand. And it kind of has a dent on its point. Yeah. I may feel that, oh, I have lost a good pen. But what have I lost? What have I lost? If you have lost the pen, koi baat nahi. Please give it to me, gift it to me. I'll take this dented pen. Because my focus is not on the pen form, that is paryay. My focus is on the gold which is there. So if my focus is on what remains, the dent, the fall, The distortion in the shape will not disturb me. I'll say, okay, fine, I'll see what can be done. Nothing lost, as long as it is not stolen. But what if it is stolen in its accurate form, when it is shining, it is perfectly unharmed, but it is stolen? Then there is a problem, because my pen has gone, my gold has gone. So what Acharya is saying, instead of being overwhelming, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the forever changing order of this world where nothing remains the same, we should rather focus on what remains. Okay, who is reading this meaning? Let's do the meaning.
I can read Anubhav Ji.
Yeah, yes, Vinich, please, please. Anitya is transient, yes.
Okay, it's just coming. I think I've got it on screen. Okay. When seen from the perspective of dravya, constant aspect of the substance, the entire universe is nitya, stable. But when seen from the perspective of paryay, modification, there is nothing that is stable. So the only karya, task worth doing, is the direct experience of atma, self, by turning our focus from paryayarthika naya perspective to dravya perspective.
So it makes sense, simple. We're not changing anything in world. हम दुनिया में कुछ नहीं बदल रहे हैं. I'm not stopping people from dying. I cannot. I'm not stopping my house from getting fragile, getting old. I'm not complaining to it as well. My entire focus is simple, that while everything outside changes, I better focus on what does not change, which is me, which is inside me. So from paryayarthika perspective, I'll close that eye and I'll open this eye of dravyarthik naya, not to see the world, but to see my eternal beauty to my soul. Simple? Simple, you understood how we're saying? Because you'll see, you'll open Gita and it will say that Atma kabhi nahi marta. It changes the clothes. It's like waking up from sleep. And then you go to hospital and doctor tells you that if you do not do this, you will die. So who is right? Gita says Atma does not die. Doctor says कि मर जाओगे यदि इतना सारा शुगर खाओगे तो. So who is lying? Is Gita lying? Is Samaysar lying? Or is the doctor lying? Will I die? Will I not die? From the Dravya Root Kai Sarvatir. From Dravyarthik Nay, you will not die. But from Paryarthik Nay, nothing will remain same. You agree to it or you don't agree to it. What you consider beauty, the same thing will haunt you a decade after. You may not like seeing yourself in mirrors so much after, let's say, 20, 30 years down the line. It will not remain the same. So instead of pouring all your love to this impermanent form, which is bound to change, water the form which remains the same. Adore the form that does not change. This is what Anitya Bhavana is saying. So Anitya Bhavana is not for us to focus on what changes, but it's an inspiration. It's a wise request that, okay, instead of focusing what changes, you focus on what does not. Okay. The second. So when I saw everything outside is changing, so I said, okay, when everything changes, can I take anybody's refuge? Is there any sharan? So the second answer comes that no, there is lack of sharan, lack of refuge, asharan bhavana. I'll read it, and it's simple. You can again, using those nayas, can figure out the meaning. Shuddhatam arupanch guru, jagame sharano doe. For me, there are two refuge. There are two abodes. There are two sharan for me. Shuddhatam from Dravyarthik Naya, my own self, and from Paryarthik Naya, the five Parmeshthi, which I remembered in Namokar Mantra. Not because they can help me, they can bless me, but because they are what I crave to be. I'm going to think of them, not to look up that they help me, but to get inspired. Yes, to contemplate. While we were doing about Amokar Mantra, we were saying that, okay, we are doing the positive, uplifting affirmation. So it is not that I'm expecting something from them. I'm just saying that, okay, from paryayarthik, they look like seeking refuge from, and from dravyarthik, it is only me who can help myself. Okay? Poonamji, will you read Ashuran Bhavana? Sorry. I'm so sorry. I've only done the first line. Shuddhata Maru Panchaguru Jagme Sarano Doe. There are only two shelters from Nishchana, myself, from Vyavaharne, Panchaguru, from Dravyarthikna, myself, from Paryarthikna, Panchaguru. But why do I say that, okay, my bank balance can help me, my parents can help me, my children will help me? Why does it happen? Moh Uday, the Mohniya karma, it deludes. It robs me of my belief system. Moh uday jiye ke vritha. Vritha means for no use, without any empirical evidence. The jiva unnecessarily is ankalpana hoye. Is figuring is just wishing. It's just imagining that others will help me. My money, my doctor, my family, my group of people, they will support me when I need it the most. It is not I speaking. It is the Mohniya karma which is deluding me to think so. Understood? Simple? Yes, Poonamji.
Asharan, lack of refuge. There are only two places of sharan or refuge in this world. From the viewpoint of Nishchaya, actual perspective, it is one's own Shuddhatma, pure self. And from Vyavharna, conventional perspective, it is the Panch Parmeshti. However, due to moh or delusions, Jiva imagines refuge in other substances.
Well, so who can help us? Nobody. Even if I have to see it through my eyes, from Nishchaya, from the real perspective, I'm only the refuge for myself. And from Vyavaharnaya, the five Parmeshtis, if at all it will be somewhere that I'll be inspired to see myself, it will be the five Parmeshtis which will inspire me. Okay? So simple, right? It's simple, it's straightforward, it's very simple. Third, sansar bhavana. So I know that sansar is transient and there is no refuge in this sansar. So therefore, sansar becomes a scary place. I am in a place where everybody is a stranger and I cannot seek help or I cannot count on anybody. So it becomes a total strange place, scary place. So third bhavana is about samsara. Par dravyan te preeti jo. Par dravyan te preeti jo. है संसार अबोध ताको फल गति चार में भ्रमण कयो श्रुत शोध. What is sansar? Sansar is not, I going to different gatis. What is sansar? He's defining sansar. Paradravyanate pritijo. I, when fundamentally am not capable of owning the paradravya, owning the other substance. But despite knowing this, I attach myself to these paradravya. This attachment is what is giving birth to samsara. So samsara is not the problem. My attachment with paradravya, paradravyanate preeti jo, the preeti is attachment. That is samsara, abodh, oh naive, abodh means one who does not have, who is not wise. So, oh abodh jiva, do you know, instead of blaming samsara for all your pain, it is not the samsara, but your attachment to the things you do not control. That is called samsara. So, paradravyante priti jo, hai samsara abodh. And okay, fine. So what? So what? I like things that I own. So what? Disclaimer. Tako fal gati char mein. As a result of that attachment towards Pardravya, you're going to transmigrate in these four gati. Brahman kayo, Shrut shodh. Read the Agama. Shrut is Jinvani. Shrut is Agam. You Shodh means investigate. Investigate. Read the Jinvani. You will know. If you do not stop doing Rag Dvesh from Pardravya, the result is disturbing. You will have to go to four gatis and bear the heat of eight karmas. So please read it in Jinvani. Shrut Shodh. Pandit says Shrut Shodh. Okay? Paras bhai, will you read samsara meaning?
Yes, of course. Yes, thank you. Uh, Sansar, worldly existence, transmigration. From the viewpoint of Nishchay, actual perspective, Moha Rag Dvesh Bhav towards non-self substances is in itself sansar, worldly existence, transmigration. Due to this, Jeev suffers in all four gatis, states of existence, and continues his cycle of rebirth.
So samsara is not the family. Samsara is not the four different gatis. Sansar is my attachment with my family, with these accumulations which I have. So from real perspective, from Nishchay Naya, from this I, the sansar, the mistake is mine. I am the first mover. I ran after the Pardravya, and as a consequence, karmas came after me. So I am not bonded with karma. The karmas are bonded with me. I have caged the karmas, and it is not the otherwise. Yeah, it was my mistake as a result of which the karmas were compelled to come to me. Okay. Now, when we saw this picture of samsara, where everything is transient, no refuge, and transmigration means it is forever, unending cycle of birth and death. When I realized it, I got scared. What do I do? Who will help me? There is no help from outside. And I got scared. Oh, I'm all alone. Then came this fourth bhavana, which said, see, that's true that you're alone. But not because you do not have anybody for your help, but because you do not need anybody for your help. You're alone and not petty. You're alone and not bechara. You're alone because you're self-sufficient. So the fourth ekatva bhavana comes in. It fuels in the positive confidence that, okay, despite this world being anitya, assurant, despite this sansar looking unending race, I do not have to be worried. I am one and I am sufficient that I am. Paramar, Paramarth te Atma. एक रूप ही joy. Joy is to see. Paramarat means from real perspective, from dravyarthik naya, from the concrete naya. Paramarat te atma. From real perspective, the atma, from real perspective, the atma is only one. Ek roop hi joy. It does not become human, dev, narki, manushya. No, it does not. It remains atma only. But कर्म निमित्त विकल्प घने तिन नासे शिव होए. All the different forms you see that, oh, I was a human then and then became a dev then. All these are the variation of not Atma. These are variation of karma nimitta. Karma nimitta vikalap ghane. It is because of the karmic nimitta that we see one Atma in so many forms. Sometimes it is Thavar, sometimes it is Tras, sometimes it is Naraki, sometimes it is Manushya, male, female, whatever. Karma nimitta vikalap ghane. So what to do? Tinanashe, by destroying them, you become one also. Shiv hoy. Shiv means moksha. You gain that one innate form. Okay? Jakshaji, will you read? Ekatva, oneness.
Sure. From the ekatva, oneness, from the viewpoint of Nischay, Atma is inherently one and only Gnan Swabhavi, has the nature of pure knowing, but when described from the viewpoint of Nimit of Karma, it is also said to be manifold, Vikalpmai, manifold existence with multiple thoughts and psychic activities. Liberation is only attained by the eradication of these Vikalp, thoughts and impure psychic activities.
What is being said is, not just about I'm looking myself from the external forms that I take. I'm also looking from at myself from my inner qualities and inner functioning. So can I be angry? Can I feel jealous? Can I be greedy? Tell me, do you guys know how to be angry, how to be greedy, how to be jealous? Yes? LPG, you're nodding. Yes? So in Ekatva Bhavana, it is being said, no, you do not get angry. You know when you get angry. You do not get greedy. You know when you get greedy. I'm not doing anything beyond knowing. So my work is only to know. It is because of the company of karma that in that knowing, I also start doing different types of vikalp of krodh, vikalp of man, maya, lobh, hasya, rati. So these are not what I do. These happen because of the karma. So it is only when I will focus only on my innate duty of knowing, the karma vikalpa will go away and I'll become completely conscious, keval, jnani being. So Atma is only one. Knowledge is Atma. Gyan is Atma. Gyan is Atma. But Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh, anger, anguish, all these emotions, they are the product of karmic nimitta. They are happening because of karma. So, it is very famously said, Ek dekhiye janiye, rami rahiye ek ठौर, समल विमल ना विचारिये, ये ही सिद्धि नहीं और. You will see your soul capable of doing multiple things. It will not fruition to liberation. Only when you eradicate all these vikalpa, that not only that you're not body, not only that you're not human, not only that, but also that you're not ragi dveshi, you're only the knower, you're only the gyata, then only the moksha will happen. So the next bhavana come, okay, when I'm alone, then is there nobody who is mine? So the next bhavana says, yes, anyatva. There is nobody who is yours. So I'll read this anyatva bhavana. अपने अपने सत्व को सर्व वस्तु विलसाए, ऐसे चितवे जीव तब परते ममत न थाए. What does every reality do? अपने अपने सत्व को सर्व वस्तु, वस्तु is reality, विलसाए. What is this pen doing? It is being. It is being in its own reality. It is constantly undergoing the change within its own boundaries, within its own ambit. What is this book doing? It is being. So we are saying apne apne sattva ko. It is not knowing. It is being a paper. It is being a cloth. It is being a thread. Because it is what it is. So what does everything do? Apne apne sattva ko. Sattva means existence. And the fulfillment of its actual plan. What it is capable of doing. Sarva vastu vilasai. What does everything do? Everything remains itself. ऐसे चितवे जीव तब, when I, the jiva, starts thinking like this, then I do not get attached with it. While it is independently capable of keeping itself safe up and running, who am I to dictate the terms? So, anyatva, while I know that everything is different and independent and self-capable, then I'm not required. Okay? Yes, Sateji, आप बोलेंगे? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Anatya separateness, every dravya is modifying, developing within its own existence. None is a doer or destroyer of another. When the jiva contemplates this, then there is no mamatva, possessiveness, attachment to a para, that means non-self others.
Beautiful. So it is from the dravyarthik when I see that I do not own this. I do not care whether it remains with me or what happens to it. So that anyatva gives me that strength from that fragility of, going away from your belongings. So how to hold yourself back? By recalling the contemplation of anyatva bhavana. Sixth bhavana, ashuchi. So when I have seen everything about the outside world, it is transient, it is not dependable, it is unending. If I do not correct myself, I'll be transmigrating in the circle of birth and death. In this whole reality, I'm alone, is transmigrating, is functioning on its own within the ambit of its own Dravyagun Pariyaya. Then then suddenly I look at the mirror and I see this body, which I have nurtured with all the love, all the affection, all the efforts, and everything that I do today is to keep this body healthy, safe, filled with luxury, all the amenities, and it should have good life. It should have good food to eat, good, comfortable house to rest. It should have good music to be listened to listen to, good pleasing sceneries to see, good aroma. So I am being a good servant to this body. So then I also start contemplating about this body being the center of my universe. Acharya says that okay, let's reflect on this body as well, what it is. Ashuchi Bhavna. निर्मल अपनी आत्मा देह अपावन गेह जानी भव्य निज भाव को यासो तजो सनेह. On one hand, I have this pure self, Nirmal Apni Atma. And on the other hand, I have this Deha, this body, which is apavan, which is impure, which is a house. Geh means ghar, the house. This body, which I consider as my house, is so dirty. And this resident of this body is so pure. So Nirmal Apni Atma, Geh Apavan Geh. When I know these two thoughts, that I am pure and body is not pure, Jani Bhavya Nij Bhavako. So you better start worrying about what you are, the Nirmal Atma, and leave the attachment with this body. Yaso Tajo Saneh. Saneh is love. Sneh. You leave Sneh with this body and you start thinking about your soul. You start serving yourself. Okay? Yes, Nikki ji. Ashuchi.
Ashuchi, same purity. This me, Atma, is pure, but this body is highly impure. So, O Bhavyaji, recognize your true nature and abandon attachment to this impure body.
So now I also, by reflecting on this, that this body is not even what. First, it is different from me, Anyatva. Second, it is transient, Anitya. Third, it cannot, the refuge, it cannot be used as a shelter, Asharan. I'll have to keep on leaving this body and getting new bodies, samsara. Despite all that, as a cherry on the top to make these shoes worse, it is not even worth taking pride in. You remove the skin, you'll not be able to see what it is. Just remove. It is just this one half millimeter thick skin is making us fall in love with this ugly thing that this body is. You remove the skin and you'll not be able to see it. Forget about loving it. So this body, which makes everything impure just by making it contact with it. So you use your cologne, you use fresh clothes, you have delicious food, everything. When it enters or comes in contact with this body, everything becomes bad. You have to wash your clothes again. Your cologne, your scents, everything goes off just by coming contact into with this body. Okay, so this is Ashuchi. It's not worth taking pride in. Now, these six contemplations, they were from the perspective of Vairagya. We are contemplating that how there is nothing outside of me which is worth contemplating. Because everything is transient, no shelter, it's all a mess, and I am alone, and everything is different from me, and even this body is ugly. Right? So these were about vairagya when you could feel detached from this world. Now, after feeling detached, what do I do? I should be sad and sit down and do nothing? Is it what vairagya tells us to do? That no. If you're not, if you have answered yourself that this world is not the answer, then figure out what answer is. So now the next six bhavanas will be more on intellectual depth. Now we'll be seeking, okay, so I've decided after these six contemplations, I've decided I'm not going to fall into the love of this world. This is what I've decided. But then what will I do? So now I'm devising a strategy. So then I'm contemplating on the consequences of my actions. So first I'm contemplating the mistakes I have been committing. So my mistake was ashrava. So the seventh bhavana is ashrava. Now we are on the solution age. You address the problem that this is the problem in first six bhavanas, and now you're contemplating what should I do so that I can get out of this problem. So first is addressing the problem. आत्म केवल ज्ञानमय निश्चय दृष्टि निहार सब विभाव परिणाममय आश्रव भाव विडार. We are told that what to do, what not to do. Jaychand Chabada Pandit Ji Sahab, he is very particular about. He's not been very emotional about these bhavanas. He has been very like he's written these bhavana in a very pointed way. He has directed us what to do, what not to do. Like in Ashuchi Bhavana, he said, "Jani bhavve nij bhavako yaso tajo saneh." What do I do after knowing that body is impure? Take your attention off it. Yeah, yaso tajo saneh. So now he's also not telling us academically that what ashraf is and why it is bad. He's directly pointing it. He's saying ashraf bhav vidar. Let go of ashraf bhav. By knowing what? Atam keval jnanmay. Atma only knows. Only knows. It has only the duty of knowing. It does not have the duty of doing attachment or aversion, doing rag or dvesh. It is the only duty to know. Nishay drishti nihar. From nishay drishti, dravyarthik nay, you'll have to see. Nihar is to see. Sab vibhav parinam may ashrav bhav vidar. Okay? Alpiji, will you be reading this? Ashraf meaning?
Sure. Ashrav, influx of karmas. From the viewpoint of Nishchay, Atma is only Gyanmay, purely knowing natured. Vibhav, Bhav, unnatural state modifications are the state of Ashrav, which should be eliminated.
Simple, we did that activity long ago when we were trying to understand about Ashrava. Uh, can you laugh? Can you laugh without a reason? Can you get angry without a reason independently? Can you be scared without a reason? But you know without reason. You know naturally. You do not need a reason to know. Even when there is nothing to be known, you say that there is nothing to be known. I want to know. And I know that there is nothing. So knowing comes innately. All other emotions need inspiration from outside. Therefore, knowing becomes our innate independent nature, and every other emotion is a borrowed emotion. So it is not what we did independently. And therefore, ashram is what you do not do naturally. What you do naturally will not result in karmic consequence. Understood? So, sab vibhav, everything that is outside knowledge, that is not knowing, that is sab vibhav, that everything is vibhav. It is not your swabhav. And therefore, that all which is not your swabhav must be eliminated. So, stop doing anger, stop entertaining the thoughts of dvesha, para, right? All these thoughts because they are not mine, simply because they're not mine. So when I knew that, okay, I do not have to indulge in these emotions of ragvesh, moh, then what do I have to indulge in? You can tell me that what not to do, but you better tell me what to do. So the next answer comes samvara bhavana. निज स्वरूप में लीनता निश्चय संवर जानी, समिति गुप्ति संयम धर्म, धरे पाप की हानि. What? From real perspective, if you ask me, from Nishchay Naya, if you'll ask me, only you getting immersed in yourself is going to save you. So the Nishchay Samvar, the right type of Samvar from Nishchay perspective is Nij Swarup mein Leenata, getting that is real stoppage. That is real stoppage of karmic influx and the reason of this samsara. And from Vyavahar, those who engage in their own nature, they are seen generally engaging in samiti, in gupti, in sanyam, in tap, in swadhyay, in dharma. So this is also from Vyavaharnay are called the ways in which the samvar can happen. Okay. So who will read it? Vishwaji? Samvara.
Yes, sure. Samvar, stoppage of influx of karmas, restraint. From the viewpoint of Nishtay, immersing into the pure experience of Atma is Samvar. It is reflected, described through vows of Samiti, vigilance, Gupti, restraint, and Samyam, austerity, which is when
Sanyam.
practiced, Sayam, sorry, austerity, which when practiced leads to destruction of sins.
So from Vyavahar, all these bodily activities are also called Samvar, but they are from Vyavahar. The real Samvar is immersing into the pure experience of self, of Atma, is Samvar. This is what is to be done. And when Samvar happens, what is the consequence? How do I, when I was not doing Samvar, I was doing Ashrav, the result was Samsara, the third bhavana. But when I do Samvar, what happens? So the next bhavana comes Nirjara. संवरमय है आत्मा, पूर्व कर्म झड़ जाए, निज स्वरूप को पाय कर लोक शिखर जब थाए. So when I do samvar means nij swarup mein leenata, nishay samvar jani. So when I immerse in myself, what happens? The karmic stock, purva karma, the karmic stock, it sheds, jhad jaye. Nij Swarup. And what do I get? I get my innate nature. Nij Swarup ko paye kar. And then what does it lead to? Lok Shikhar jab thai. I go and find my new residence in Siddhishila. I become a Siddha as the completion of Nirjara. So Nirjara is shedding. Shriyaji, will you read it?
Yeah. Nirjara, shedding of karmas. Gyan Atma, the knower soul, is the embodiment of Samvar, Dharam, true nature itself. Through its refuge, elimination of previously acquired karmas takes place and Atma attains its own pure nature.
Simple. So it's just describing what will happen. So I'm sitting here in my room thinking what to do. I started looking around. I started thinking, oh, anitya, ashram, sansar. I saw, oh, ekatva, anyatva, ashuchi. Then I said, what to do? I got to know about ashrav. Then I said, no, I'll do samvar. And with samvar, you know what will happen? I'll become siddha by shedding all the karmas. So when this came, then question came, oh, Lok Shikhar, what this Lok is. You started contemplating that, okay, the result of Nirjara is I leaving this Lok. But what this Lok is, let me also contemplate about this Lok. How does it function? The Lok Bhavana comes as the 10th Bhavana. Lok Swarup Vichari Ke, Atam Roop Nihar, परमारथ व्यवहार गुणी मिथ्या भाव निवार. The contemplation of Lok is to remind us that why it is necessary for me to contemplate self. Lok Swarup Vicharike, when you will know that, oh, this all will be the consequence, this whole world will become my home if I do not take refuge in myself. So looking at Lok should lead to looking at self. Like looking at the job market, looking at the competition, a child looks into his textbooks and says, okay, let me prepare well. So when you see the actual competition outside, you start putting focus on your business inside. Similarly, when I saw this look, that led to the impression that, oh, I need to do a lot. So, Paramarat Vyavahar Guni Mithya Bhav Nivar. So, I will do what? I will understand what contemplating the right dravyarthik and nishanaya, contemplating that would mean, and what contemplating vyavahar would mean, and then I will let go of all the misconceptions, all the mithyatva by looking at the lok. Post contempt, Kapilji, will you be reading? Lok.
Um, sure. Lok, universe. Post contemplating the nature of Loka, six dravyas, one should immerse oneself in one's own Atma. By understanding Nishchay and Vyavhar appropriately, one should dispel Mithyatva Bhav, that is, Mithya Darshan, Mithya Gyan, Mithya Charitra, and Mithya Bhav.
Yeah, so the result of knowing the world would be the encouragement to indulge in the Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra by understanding the Nishchay and Vyavhar appropriately. Fine. Then, while I was contemplating all this, it hit me that, oh, why do I get these feelings? Why do I feel that I should pay attention to all these thought processes? Why am I not drawn towards, what the world is going after, towards partying, towards going after all the luxuries of five senses? Why not? Why not it is happening? So Acharya is saying that, okay, see, you're so fortunate. You should be grateful for what you have done so far and where you have come. So Bodhi Durlabh is kind of a warning as well as pat on the back. Tap on the back. Okay? Bodhi Durlabh Bhavna. बोधि आपका भाव है निश्चय दुर्लभ नाही भव में प्राप्ति कठिन है यह व्यवहार कहाही. See, I am myself a soul. How can you say that the wisdom of knowing soul is very rare when I myself am soul? How can you say that knowing soul is difficult, is durlabh? So bodhi आपका भाव है. I am myself soul, and it is my nature that I am keval jnani. I am filled with bodhi. So therefore, from nishayanaya, it is not rare. It is not difficult to have it. But इस भव में प्राप्ति कठिन है because of there is so many distraction. There is so many attraction in the outside world that I often find this very difficult to concentrate on my real benefit, on my soul, on myself. Preeti ji, will you be reading it? Bodhi Durlabh.
Yeah. Bodhi Durlabh, paucity of enlightenment. The inherent nature of Atma is knowing. So from the perspective of Nishchaya, it is not difficult to attain. In the worldly sense, the attainment of Atma Gyan, knowledge of Atma or self-realization is considered challenging from the point of Vyavahara. As it is rare, only a few are able to achieve the same.
Yeah, so we should, congratulate ourselves that, okay, we are here contemplating it, thinking about it, discussing it, while the majority of the population is totally unaware about all these even thoughts that I am the knower, I'm not the doer, and all sorts of thoughts. So Bodhidharma Bhavana says that, okay, though it is rare for the world outside, but for us, those who are invested into this, don't worry. It is your very nature. If you will not get it, who will get it? So Bodhidharma Bhavana kind of acts like an encouragement and also a warning that if we miss this opportunity, what will happen to us in the later birth? And the last bhavana, which is sort of conclusion of all this thought process, that I must celebrate the dharma, which is the very nature which I have. So dharma bhavana. दर्श ज्ञानमय चेतना आत्म धर्म बखानी दया क्षमादिक रत्न त्रय या में गर्भित जानी. दर्श ज्ञानमय चेतना. The Chetana is knowing, and knowing is defined by perception and knowledge. Darshan and Gyan, they both together constitute the process of Chetana. So Darsha Jnanamaya Chetana, that is only my single religion. Atam Dharma Bakhani. So what is my religion? To know. To perceive and know. Darsh Jnanamaya Chetana, Atam Dharma Bakhani. Daya, Kshama, Adi, etc. Ratnatray, Darshan Samyak Darshan Jnana Charitra, Yame Garbhit Jani. So if you know how to know, then you automatically gain in yourself Daya, Kshama, Ratnatraya, every other thing that you have known the Dharma for, all those qualities you invite in you the moment you master the art of knowing, of being Chaitanya. Okay? I'll ask, I think, Praful Bhai, पढ़ेंगे?
Dharma, true religion. The nature of Atma is Jnana, knowing, and Darshan, perception, belief. Compassion, forgiveness, etc. are 10 religious virtues. Dharmas and Ratnatraya are all included in this.
So from real point of view, it is the nature that if we know how to unaffected from the worldly happenings, then we write the verses and its meanings about below contemplations, Anitya Ekatva Samvar Bodhidurlabh. Write a brief note on the biography and works of Pandit Jaychand Chabada ji. Fine. Right? So it was a beautiful journey of everything that we're going to learn. We sit down without any book and start contemplating and making connections from one topic. Why did we start? Because we saw this world forever changing and we did not know what is the meaning of it. Then we said, okay, fine, I cannot make sense out of this, but is there something that I can take refuge in? Then we got to know that there is no refuge outside. And then, okay, fine, if abandon this thought of even contemplating, so then they said, no, do not do that. You will otherwise be in the never ending cycle of birth and death, which is samsara. So then I said, then to I am gone. I have nobody. So he said, no, don't say that you have nobody. You have you. Ekatva. You have you. You have you. But then I have nobody. How can you have anybody else when they have themselves? So they are different from you. They all are contemplating their own existence. They're all thriving in their own reality. So anyatva. But theek but it would have been better that this body could have at least coped up. Yeah, why do you want help from this ugly body which you will never take pride in? You're never proud of your dustbins that, okay, I have the highest amount of garbage in my dustbin. Do you show off in your family gatherings? You know how much garbage did we do in this week? You rather hide it. If somebody comes in your house, you hide your dustbins, litter, everything. You do not want anybody to see in your garbage. So why do you want to take pride in this body and take any sort of help from this body anyway? Then what do I do? See, you have primary duty and nature of knowing. You rather knowing, waste your time in doing rag, dvesh, doing gossips, in taking pleasure in different types of vikathas. That is ashram. Stop doing that. Then what will I do? Practice knowing, immersing in your very nature of knowing. And from outside, you may practice Sanyam, you may practice Samiti, Kukti, Tap, meditation, Samayik. All that thing you can practice. That is Samvar. What will it do? It will, if you immerse yourself in this Samvar Swarupi Atma, the shedding will happen. And one day, you'll be not only free from all karmas, but also from this samsara, and you'll go at the top of this world. World? Okay, tell me, how big is the world? Big enough for you to be worried in considering this dharma path seriously. So in Lok Bhavana, we talked about how there is a Tras Nadi in which only Tras Jivas live. Outside it, even Sthavar Jivas are there. Once you become Tras Sthavar Jiva, nothing works. You only have to wait and for that luck that you come out of it's a Sthavar Paryayarthik. So it's ugly. So then what should I do? So after contemplating Lok, that out of this complex Lok, you're so fortunate that you have arrived here, where you have Tirthankaras, where you have all these words of wisdom which do not make you scared. They do not instill the emotion of greed that, okay, do this so that you'll be given this. If you do not do this, God will punish you. You have met such gurus who purely think of your own welfare. They do not have anything, any fees to charge from you. By you do their service, you take their name, take their flag to this world. They do not, they have their hands on hands. Your Variantas and Siddhas as your devas. So you are very lucky, Bodhi Durlabh. Do not waste this opportunity. So what to do? What you are, remain that. Be yourself a living dharma. Do not be the practitioner of dharma. You have yourself, which has its own nature. You get one with that nature. You yourself will become the embodiment of dharma. So these are the whole, in short, the whole journey of how whatever we have been learning can be woven in one simple masterpiece. And when we start contemplating, we touch every aspect of learning that we have done so far. So bara bhavana are considered the daily staple food of every mumukshu. We have to every day think of these bara bhavanas in some way so that we know why we started what we have started and why we cannot stop, why we cannot take it lightly. We have bigger things to accomplish. Okay, everybody, fine. I'll take 2 minutes, 3 minutes pause. If you have any questions, you think about it. If you want to go use washroom or do something, let's come back after 2, 3 minutes. We'll do a quick read of chapter on Jaṃbūsvāmī, which is a simple, beautiful story. And that will, except chapter one, we'll have everything covered of this bhag. Chapter one, we'll be doing it. Let's see how we merge it in different places. But if you have, let's it's what we have 20 minutes still left from today's 22 minutes actually class. Let's break for 2, 3, 4 minutes, however you require. If you have any questions, meanwhile, if anybody has a question, you can ask. And if you want to just take a break, you can. You're free, like for 3, 4 minutes. Let's. Minichi, it's like those who want to go for just take a rest for 2, 3 minutes. You can.
Thank you, Anubhav Ji.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes. This is about the Ghatya and Aghatya karmas. So basically, like all the Aghatya karmas, uh, uh, Nam karma and uh, Gotrakam and all that, they are basis what we did in the past. And what we are doing today are making the karmas for the next avaran of this soul. Is that correct? But on the other hand, the Ghatya karmas, they are more constant, that keep happening. So Jnana Varni karma, if I have something, if I get a karma today, that can still come to fruition in this bhav, or am I wrong in that understanding?
A beautiful reflection. That's a beautiful reflection. Yes. So I cannot change my present Ayu.
Yes.
I cannot change my present Ayu because Ayu is of two types. One, what we are expensing. So I have two types of one, the contract that I decide for the next. So what happens is you cannot travel without reservation in this universe. So you will only I am only allowed to leave this body once I have reservation for the next body. That reservation is called Ayu Karma. So before death, everybody has to have that agreement with Ayu Karma that where are they going? Otherwise, where will you go? Which gati? What body? So Ayu. So without the bondage of Ayu Karma, nobody passes away. So Ayu becomes of two types. One, the ticket of the future journey. The other, the previous ticket, which is letting you live right now. So the present ticket is called Bhujyamanayu, the one which you are spending. Every day I'm spending every moment I'm spending one moment, which is reducing my contract with this body. So I'm spending. So to spend is in Bhujyaman. your bhajana in Hindi, we will say that we are spending it. So bhujyamanayu. And the other is badhyamanayu, which you have entered the contract, which you are bonding. So I am inviting the new karmic influx of ayu karma, that is the agreement. This is agreement I'm entering into. And the present ayu is what I am expensing out. So what you are already expensing out cannot be changed. Yeah. But there are provision like, some strange situation occurs, like, earthquake comes, you have heavy loss of blood, then we call it akal maran. Because we say that, okay, the karmic particles, they had udina. But even that, in terms of karmic, how the karma is functioning, we are calling it akal. But when I look at the Sarvagya's Gyan, even that has happened because it was supposed to happen. So in that way, nothing, if you pick up Sarvagya, the situations portrayed by Aghatya Karma, they are kind of frozen for this birth.
Mm.
Yeah, so like you cannot change your body.
Mhm.
Body is there. You cannot change your age. You cannot change even your gotra. Gotra is also not non-changeable. Now about Sata Karma and Asata Karma, the different complex situations that we have to go through. Can they not be changed? If I'm poor, by working hard, can I not become wealthy? So again, now there's a trick. The Sata Vedani and Asata Vedani karma is not the external situation dependent. It's actually emotion dependent. So you can plan a surprise birthday party for me, and I somehow hate birthdays. So what you have done should have made me very happy, but rather it has upset me. So was there a problem with the party, or was there the problem with my mindset? I am upset not because of the party. I should be elated for the love showered by my friends, but I rather became upset because of it. So it is said that Sata and Asata Vedani Karma, they are intrinsic to soul, and their remote is in the hands of Mohniya, how your mood is. So if I am having bad mood, and you do something good to me, I might get irritated out of it. Why do you have to behave like this? Why you always have to be good to me? Huh? I'm good and you're angry. You cannot be always like this. So because it's your mood speaking. So Sata and Asata is because dependent on your mood. Therefore, if you can correct your mood, even the bad situations can make you feel good. And if you do not correct your mood, even the good situations will upset you. So Vedani karma is rather mohini dependent. So yes, by changing your moh, you can change you do not like your body, you correct your moh, you will start liking your body. You do not like being human, you change your moh, you'll say, okay, bodhi durlabh. What bet? So what that I'm in this age, I'm a being, but I still am fortunate that I'm able to contemplate what all goes here. Correct? So you change your mood, then the fruition of all karmas can be looked at from very different perspective. But that's true, I cannot change my age, my body, somehow. But yeah, but if you're saying that it's a very fixed in those terms, nitty-gritties are there in terms of the fruition of karmas, where sometimes udina of some karmas happen, sometimes the conversion, upkarshan, utkarshan happens. But generally speaking, yes, for agatya karma, you do not have much in control.
Mm.
And therefore, we have the Updesh of Ratnatraya, which is directly affecting the Anujivi Gunas of Darshan Gyan Charitra of Jiva.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, I think
Thank
everybody
you.
is back. Let's do the reading of Jaṃbūsvāmī's story. Why it is important? Jaṃbūsvāmī is the last Bhagwan of this age, last Kevali. And moreover, he did attain it in this Pancham Kal. It becomes very, we generally say that in Pancham Kal nobody can attain liberation, but we have this case of Jaṃbūsvāmī, who from Mathura, he attained moksha in this age. So it has been written, it has been taken from the works of Pandit Rajmalji Pandey. So we'll quickly also be reading about the life of Pandit Rajmalji Pandey. Uh, जल्पा जी आपने नहीं पढ़ा है, सतीश भाई के साथ जल्पा जी आपका यू कैन रीड दी कविवर पंडित राजमल जी पांडे's biography.
Sure. Jai Chinendra. Jaṃbūsvāmī, Kavivar Pandit Rajmalji Pandey. पांडे राजमल जिन धर्मी, नाटक समय सार के मर्मी. Banarasi Das. Of the many prominent scholars from Rajasthan who have dedicated their lives to literature in accordance with spiritual practice, the name of Pandit Rajmalji Pandey is especially noteworthy. His primary residence was in Vairatnagar in the province of Dhumdahada. His mother tongue was Dhundhari. He was a scholar par excellence in Sanskrit and Prakrit as well. He predates leading scholar Banarasi Das of the 17th century CE. His first granth, Jaṃbūsvāmī Charitra, was completed in 1633 CE, suggesting he was most likely born in the early 17th century. His talent was multifaceted. He was a poet, commentator, scholar, academician, and orator. In his poetry, there is profound exploration of spirituality and subtle elements alongside poetic beauty. The following compositions written by him are available. 1. Jaṃbūsvāmī Charitra. 2. Chanovidya. 3. Adhyatma Kamal Martand. 4. Tattvarth Sutra Tika. 5. Samaysar Kalash Bal Bodh Tika. 6. Panchadhyayi. The following excerpt is based on the composition Jaṃbūsvāmī Charitra by him. Sister,
Thank you.
Lord Mahavir, the last Tirthankar.
Wait. We can have dialogue reading by two people now. So this was about Pandit Rajmal, who has his great name in this legacy, and he predates Pandit Banarsi Das Ji. And Pandit Banarsi Das Ji was highly inspired by him while he was writing Natak Samay Sar. So he wrote Pande Raj Mal Jindharmi, Natak Samay Sar Ke Marmi, that he only showed him the essence of Natak Samay Sar, the Samay Sar scripture. You see his writings again. We saw the writings of Pandit Jaychand Chabada in this Bara Bhavana chapter. We are seeing the variety in which they have worked. Jaṃbūsvāmī Charitra is Pratman Yug scripture where stories are dealt. Chandovidya is again a scripture which is dealing in different types of, its poetic essence, poetic beauty is coming out. Adhyatma Kabal Martanda is a spiritual composition by Pandit Rajmal Ji. Tattvar Sutra Tika, again on the very important scripture of Jain philosophy. And then Samay Sar Kalash Bal Bodh Tika. His Tika, his commentary is actually a legacy in contemplating what Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev has written on those Kalash in Samay Sar. And then he wrote this scripture, Panchadhyayi, to that intelligence, to that geniusness, that for longer time it was believed that this scripture is actually written by Acharya Amritchandra Dev. Understand? He wrote a scripture in spirituality so deep that it really took a great amount of pain to figure out who has written it and how. So he was a great scholar, and we are so proud that we are having his literature to read at this, even after 500 years of his passing, 400 years of his passing. Okay, so now we are going to read this chapter. There are two people, sister and brother. So Avni ji can read being sister, And will else read who has not done the reading? Uh, I think Shreyaji, you have not read since long. I think you can be other for this. Okay? Okay. Yes, Avniji.
Lord Mavera, the last Tirthankara, was completely vitragi, detached, and Sarvaja, omniscient. After him, did anyone else become completely vitragi and Sarvaja?
Yes, of course. There were others. After him, Gautam Swami, Sudharma Acharya, and Jaṃbūsvāmī became completely Vitragi and Keval Gyani. Jaṃbūsvāmī is the last Kevali of this era.
Then, like Mahavir Swami, Jaṃbūsvāmī must have been a prince as well.
No, sister. He was the son of a stately, wealthy businessman in the city of Rajgraha. His father was Arhadasa and his mother was Jinmati. Jaṃbūsvāmī was born on the full moon day of the month of Falgun, a month of the lunar calendar. Son of the statesman, Jambu Kumar held a prominent position in the court of King Shrenika, as well as in contemporary society. Many wealthy families in the city wanted to marry their Matrius daughters to Jaṃbūsvāmī, and his engagement to 4 of them was confirmed, but
what?
But Jaṃbūsvāmī was inclined towards vairagya, renunciation, from childhood. His mind longed for the infinite Anit Darya Anand, bliss derived from the soul and not the senses of Atma. So he outrightly refused to get married.
So did the marriage not take place?
He indeed desired not to marry, but when the maidens heard this news, they vowed that if they were to marry, it would only be Jaṃbūsvāmī or not at all. Then what? The parents of the 4 girls, as well as Jambu Kumara's parents, insisted that he marry and that he could take Diksha, ascetic initiation or renunciation, later if he so chose. They were sure that these maidens with their beauties and virtues would win Jambu Kumara's heart and he would forget about taking renunciation. But
what?
Well, Jambu Kumara agreed to get married, but the worldly desires and sensual pleasures could not attract his mind towards them.
So did the marriage not take place?
The marriage did take place, but the very next day, Jambu Kumara renounced his home, possessions, family, wealth, and even the 4 goddess-like women and became a sky-clad Digambara sadhu.
What were their wives' names? Didn't they stop him from renouncing the world?
Sorry. Yeah. The names were Padmashri, Kanakshri, Vinayashri, Rupashri. They made every effort to stop him with their demeanor, beauty, care, and intelligence, but they could not change the mind of Jambu Kumara, whose only desire was to be immersed in Atmanand.
Is it true? How will raga of ragi, attachment of ignorant, worldly minded, affect Ajnana, enlightened one with experience of pure self? The rays of gnana, knowledge, and with raga, renunciation, are capable of destroying ajnan, ignorance, and raga, attachment.
You are right, sister. The impact of his jnana and vairagya influenced even the thief Vidyukchara, who had come to steal from Jambu Kumar's house on the wedding night. Overhearing the discussion between Jambu Kumar and his newly wedded wives and witnessing the vairagya of Jambu Kumar, he decided to become Muni with them.
And what happened to those maidens?
They too turned their focus away from Vishaya Kashai, worldly desires and passions, towards Vairagya, renunciation. They renounced the world and became Arjikas, women who live, Arikas, right? Arikas, right, Anubhav Ji? Women who live like ascetics. His parents also renounced the world and accepted the vows of monkhood. That is, became Arjikas and Munis. In this way, the entire atmosphere became one of Vairagya. Jambu Kumar Muni was engrossed in deep, continuous meditation of Atma. On the 7th day of the waxing cycle of the moon in the month of Magh, a month in the lunar calendar, the day when his guru Sudharmacharya attained nirvana, complete liberation, Jaṃbūsvāmī attained Keval Jnana, omniscience.
Just as Nirvana, day of Mahavira, and Kevalgnana, day of Gautama, is the same, Nirvana, day of Sudha, one second,
Sudharmacharya.
Sudharmacharya and Kevalgnana of Jaṃbūsvāmī are also the same?
Yes, after that, for 18 years, through Divya Dhvani, divine Om sound, Jaṃbūsvāmī continued to give Tattva-updesh, teaching of fundamental principles in regions from Magda to Mathura, and finally attained moksha from Chaurasi, Mathura.
Yes, so this was brief life of Jambu Kumar Swami Jaṃbūsvāmī. Why this story is important? It has 2-3 points. First is that how he was uh, already detached from the world, but on the request of his mother, his parents, he agreed to enter into this constitution of marriage. But the very day he married, the night came, they all were in discussion that why Vairagya is better and Rag is not. All his four wives were having, it's a beautiful portrayal. If you read this, the Puran, Jaṃbūsvāmī Charita, it's a beautiful composition. So the queens, I mean, the Ranis of him tell him stories, and then he again says counter stories to tell them about it, why Vairagya is better. And at the same time, in his mahal, a thief called Vidyachar enters, and in story it is said that he came with 500 thieves. Just imagine if he's roaming with 500 thieves, how big the palace would have been, whatever. But then he also overheard it, and he started questioning himself that I am here putting myself in danger to steal all these belongings, and he is leaving everything just for nothing. And so he also got Vairagya. And then his mother saw this thief, and then the mother requested that, okay, I'll give you whatever you want to convince this boy to remain in home, to not take Diksha. And then he goes and then he also takes Diksha along with all his other fellow thieves. And therefore it became a great. And now what is the sequence? Mahavir Bhagwan takes Nirvan on the morning of Deepavali, and in the evening, Gautam Gardhar takes Keval Gyan. Similarly, Gautam Gardhar goes to Moksha and Sudharmacharya takes Keval Gyan. And then Sudharmacharya goes Moksha in the morning, and in the evening, Jaṃbūsvāmī takes Keval Gyan. And then for 18 years, his Gandhakuti is there, which has his discourses happening. So these are Anubaddha Kevalis, one after another. The chain of Keval Gyan did not break. One attains nirvana, other becomes Keval Gyani. So that is important to know. Fine. So this was simple story of Jaṃbūsvāmī, which is very inspiring as well. That those who have everything, they let go of those things. And if we do not have everything, we waste our entire lifetime in accumulating everything which the great people have left. So we should also start contemplating about why this Indriya Sukh is not worth pursuing. And Atindriya Ananda, the pleasure we derive from our innate self, is something that we must focus on. Okay, so we'll stop here. Namokar Mantra book is, I think you all must have read it. I'll share a small presentation on it so that a summary of this book also gets covered. And If you have any questions, and I'm open if everybody agrees, if something you feel that, the syllabus is running too fast or we are finding it difficult to keep track of it, you may suggest and we can have an extra class for a day in any of the Sundays or Saturdays or whenever you want for an hour, maybe where we all can come together and discuss about the things that we are finding difficulty in. So I'm open to this. So if anybody proposes that, we'll be also, I'll be open to it. There is no problem. Let's just decide the time when we want to do it. Yes, Shreyaji, please.
Anubhav Ji, you mentioned with regards to Jaṃbūsvāmī that he attained liberation, moksha from in Panchamkal. So, is it that I mean, obviously we know that you cannot attain liberation in Panchamkal. Is that true, or is it because of Hunda of Sarpini that there is
You
an
cannot,
exception?
if you have taken birth in Pancham Kal, you cannot. He took birth in fourth Kal, in the beginning of fifth Kal. So that is the nitty-gritty about it. But generally speaking, there's nobody attains liberation in this Kal. Yeah. So he took birth. He was in the court of King Shrenik. Yeah, who was at the same time when Mahavir Bhagwan was there. But that was the transition time. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. Nikki ji, you can just ask question and we'll take those questions back. But we can decide on the group if we want to keep an extra session. We are also running behind in that way that we have to take the meaning of the first chapter as well. But I think conceptually we have discussed all the topics which were to be discussed in this part. And as and when the time will permit, we'll also discuss in detail about it. But if you have any concerns or questions or you're finding something too difficult, I'm open to have an extra session if everybody agrees or those who can attend. Maybe we can keep it on Sunday or whenever you say. Okay. Yes, Biniji, we can coordinate on that end as well if anybody wants it. Okay. Okay. Let's do Chimani Sudhi. Nikki ji, you will post your question on the group, है ना? We'll take it in the next class. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए चिन्हवाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है उसके लिए चिन्हवाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है 19 श्लोक